Hey friends, welcome back to 3D Cartoon Review. Grab a seat and let the lamps burn low. Tonight's tale is Tales of Herding Gods, Episode 59, told in a smooth, cinematic flow. If you love faithful, story-first narration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so the next chapter finds you on time. Now, breathe in. We begin. The reception hall of the scholar's residence was too honest to be grand, just a reed mat, a low table, and a kettle that gleamed from being boiled too often. Qin Mu stepped in with thought, still humming through his veins, and bowed to the guest whose presence lengthened every shadow, the National Preceptor of Yankang. "Linger," Qin Mu said, keeping the smile easy. "Tea." Hu Linger pedaled her sleeves, mortified. "We're out." A small thing, yet it drew the scene like a clean brushstroke. The host earnest, the fox girl flustered, the guest calm as winter water, smiling as if the lack itself proved something good about the house. "No tea," the National Preceptor said mildly. "Then I'll stand." Only a few words. He wasn't statue handsome, his magnetism was stranger, quieter. His eyes didn't glitter so much as starlight. Qin Mu felt respect, spark, and, with it, the instinct to measure. Here stood the man who had pried a country apart and set it back together under new stars, armies re-drilled, sects dethroned, schools raised where dust had slept. People said his laws carried hidden knives, that his persuasion could be silk one day and assassination the next. Admiration and caution fit in the same chest. "You know what I am," Qin Mu said at last. "A Taixue doctor and more. If I meant to kill you," the preceptor replied, unhurried, "fear wouldn't help. Kill you, and the heavenly saint sect revolts. Don't kill you, and it doesn't." He let the balance hang. "So tell me, why won't your sect rebel?" "Because our creed runs beside yours," Qin Mu said. "And because I'm building schools a 361st path on the road you paved." The corner of the preceptor's mouth moved. "A sect that dreams of being a nation within a nation. Will you become a quiet state inside Yankang, or a storm against it?" "We don't betray first," Qin Mu answered. "But if you betray your original creed, wander off the sage's road, we'll stand up." He had followed a thread the preceptor laid without ever feeling the tug. The older man didn't deny the implication. "I once thought to bind you. To stack your sect into pillars I required," he said. "But the arithmetic of people like you is simple and cruel. Harder to persuade than to kill. Harder still to convert a church than to pull down its temple. So I keep you not as a tool but as a sword above my own head. If I stray, I deserve the cut." A small chill walked Qin Mu's spine. It is one thing to meet ambition, another to meet a man who invites his own executioner to stay honest. "Between us, no war," the preceptor concluded. "Your ideal and Yankang's do not collide for now." "And Dao Gate, the great thunderclap monastery?" Qin Mu asked. "If they unite, knowledge and action become what they preach, I will destroy them," the preceptor said, like a man stating weather. "If they don't, they are names. Names don't trouble me." "What is your ideal truly?" "Not said," he answered, already turning to go. "Done." He left the room smaller than he'd found it. Long Qilin, who had been pretending to be a carved idol by the door, finally exhaled. "His chi is odd," the beast murmured. "Right in front of me, and I could barely feel him." Outside Taixue, the preceptor crossed paths with Tanfei Yue and remarked almost idly that the old great sacrificial priest had chosen a successor too much like me, which, he added with the faintest smile, "makes me want to kill him." The words followed Qin Mu like a draft under a door. The talk cracked something open in Qin Mu's head. He walked home inside a question. Could one method become all methods? Could he knit body and breath, spell and blade, into a single sovereignty that commanded everything he knew? He took the Overlord Body 3 Elixir technique as spine, the Village Smith Sutras as tendon, and the Grand Nurture Devil Scripture as breath, and hammered, sanded, stitched. The new Overlord body rose not as a steward but as a king, a method that could reach into marrow, muscle, breath, and mind, and command them to move together. It ignited mid-flight. Yuan Qi no longer rushed like a river. It percolated through every vein and bone, sealing leaks he had never known. He slowed in the air, listening to himself remake. "Qin Mu!" Hu Linger's voice split the wind. "Hurry Long Da is..." Color ran out of him in a breath. In 2 hours, flesh had fallen away, skin pasted to bone, eyes hollow. A scholar turned scarecrow. The new Overlord body was strong and hungry. It would kill him by being perfect. He threw a hand against a column and shut it down, leaving only a stitch of will to keep his mind whole. He sprinted to the Taixue storerooms, stole herbs like a man paying back old debts with interest, and raised a small furnace that filled the corridor with heat and the smell of chalk and paper. The pills he drew out sang a faint Buddha tone, as if a tiny gong lived inside each. He swallowed a string and staggered home. "Rouse the medicine," he told Linger. The fox's fingers pressed points, the pills blossomed into coal warmth, and his mind clawed back from the edge. Alive, not safe. The arithmetic was simple. Feed the method, or be eaten by it. "Food," he croaked. "Now." Long Qilin's ears pricked. Hunting. They went to the Jade Dragon Lake with the innocence of the famished. Long Qilin barreled into the royal water like a child into summer. The Taoist caretaker shrieked, flung his dust whisk as a net of qi, and watched it explode against Qilin's shoulder like straw on a bell. He fled up the bank, shouting execution and damned monsters. By the time students drifted back from Pure Yang Hall, the sky hosted an absurd procession. The lake's Catfish King, a scarlet dragon-horned giant carp, trussed in demon wind and bobbing through the air. Behind it, Long Qilin, drenched and pleased, and on his back, a very serious white fox. The fish landed in Qin Mu's yard with a thud that made bowls hop in their racks. Ling barred the gate, and, in the same motion, stepped out to fell a mulberry, the Advancement Mulberry gifted by Master Qingshan, a living emblem that students should keep climbing. A gasp ran the lane like fire through straw. "Is that from the Imperial Lake?" "And that tree, he chopped it to grill." Inside, they made a devotion of it. Qin Mu mixed mulberry leaves, ginger, scallion. Linger salted, tasting the wind. Long Qilin commanded the fire like a retired general. "One more fan, one less ember." Fat bled, oil crackled, blue smoke rose in a perfume that made strangers outside swallow. Linger's curved blades whispered. Belly meat fell in even, snow-white slices like a row of pearls. Long Qilin ate 2 polite bites, and decided fish was beneath a Qilin's dignity. Linger's small belly rounded like a little moon. Qin Mu ate like a plan, guiding Ling-Buddha Dan, the gluttonous art hidden in the grand nurture devil scripture, to convert fat to fuel, fuel to muscle, muscle to breath. If you sat close, you could almost hear the cadence. He was half human again when Wei Dong waddled in on the scent, took in the clean-scraped skeleton, the gaunt host, the round fox, and blurted the first thing in his head. "You got drained at a brothel, didn't you?" Qin Mu coughed on a bone and a laugh. "Practice error," he said. Wei Dong delivered news without breathing. Ba Mountain sacrificial wine and the old grand sacrificial priest had just shaken the sky outside the capital. The emperor had summoned and scolded them. Wei Dong himself would be tempered soon after he finished eating. When the fish bones lay clean and dignified, Qin Mu's arms had rounded, his color returned. Wei Dong asked, joking, where they'd bought such a king of fish. Qin Mu tapped his chopsticks toward the south. Jade Dragon Lake. Wei Dong went gray. "That's royal water, fed by 9 dragon chi, and the mulberry, that was a symbol." He stood so fast his chair yelped. "I was never here," he told the doorway and fled. Royal lakes come with royal ledgers, royal staff, and new grand sacrificial priests, eager for examples. Li Nuan, barely settled in office, pounced, petitions drafted, beheadings and fines cited, runners sent to arrest Qin Mu, with Wei Dong and Taixue as witnesses. They found only a fox and a beast. Li Nuan arrived at court with victory folded in his sleeves, only to find, in the Imperial Flower Garden, Qin Mu beside the Empress Dowager, her hand on his sleeve, and Yankang Emperor Yuan Feng wearing the careful smile of a man who wants a matter finished without stains. Qin Mu bowed. "I am provincial," he said. "I didn't know the lake was royal." Ministers and Li Nuan recited punishments until the air crowded. The Dowager silenced the room with a glance and gently reminded them that this young doctor had cured her illness, and that a nation which prizes fish over people is difficult to love. Then she turned that gentleness on Qin Mu and asked for a childhood story. Yuan Feng sighed, unthreaded the noose, and scolded Li Nuan for failing to arrange in private what he had now made embarrassing in public. Lake keepers were reprimanded. Hu Lingjer and Long Qilin were released. Li Nuan swallowed fire and kept his face smooth. Afterward, the emperor dismissed attendants and walked with Qin Mu under a quiet arcade. His words came without lacquer. "I know," he said. "Taixue Doctor, Heavenly Devil Cult Master, Jade-faced Poison King's disciple, a child of the Great Ruins, useful or dangerous." "If the Taoist Patriarch or Buddha bent the knee," Qin Mu said, "you'd raise them to first rank and ennoble their ancestors. But the Heavenly Saint sect, one of 3 holy lands, you name a heretical cult and give its master a 6th rank post. Does that not wound loyal hearts?" Yuan Feng tilted his head, half pleased, half troubled. "True," he said. "And impossible. You're too young. Raise you further and I melt the glue in the walls. Let years do their work," the smile returned. "And be wide with Li Nuan. He sits in Taixue because I placed him there." They parted with a promise that felt real. The Emperor would use Qin Mu as he used the National Preceptor without needing to fear him. Qin Mu left the palace lighter. Both thunderclouds had seen him and had not struck. 10 days simmered like tea kept just shy of a boil. In the West Room, chests filled with great wind coins dragon saliva turned to money with reliable regularity. Ba Mountain's sacrificial wine came with Wei Deng and Min Yue to collect travel funds for their training tour. Qin Mu waved them on. He lived by the furnace, red fire pills to feed strength, a spirit-nourishing Ling-Buddha pill, whose cooled glaze rang a tiny Buddha tone, as if a monastery bell had blessed the batch. He emptied the academy's herb stores, learned the clerks by name, and slept less. The new Overlord body thrummed under his skin like a second heart and always wanted more. Then the call-up came. Chao Ding posted rosters. Taixue candidates to the front to quell rebellions and prove what the schools had made. Directorates would lead in person. Li Nuan wrote Qin Mu's name himself, adding a neat note in the margin, "Command a unit." On paper, it flattered. In practice, it planted him where arrows arrive first. Qin Mu's squad was a bouquet of the Academy's least sharp 5 Lumina realm, some barely there. Earnest, bright, underfed in war, not a general among them. Not the miracle class in divine abilities, not the knives that etch names in stone. Students. He folded the list once, twice, slid it into his sleeve. "This," he told the quiet room, "is a beginning." That night, with the city breathing politely beyond the walls, he stepped back to the edge of his new method and simply watched it. He wouldn't cut into it now. War sat too near. He would feed it, pace it, borrow from the Ling-Buddha pills, until the body learned the appetite of the mind. In the yard, the Advancement Mulberry was a heap of useful ash. The lane still gossiped. The lake still lacked a king. Somewhere, an emperor weighed hearts against laws. Somewhere else, a preceptor lay under the sword he'd asked to hang above his bed. In the dormitory, a fox sharpened little knives for fish and rope, and a Qilin dreamed of grasslands and dragons, waking with his mouth wet. Tomorrow there would be uniforms, marching orders, boys with their names pinned to the wrong maps. Tonight, a city held its breath while a scholar decided which way to walk. Thanks for traveling with me through Tales of Herding Gods, episode 59. If this storytelling hit the spot, please like the video, subscribe to 3D Cartoon Review, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next chapter. Drop a comment. Should a sect ever serve as a sword above the ruler's head? Was Qin Mu right to grill the lake's king? And that poor mulberry? Your thoughts help shape what we tell next. See you in the next episode.